So let's talk about connecting signals. Many new BloodHound users will have this question where they say, I have two crossover conditions, let's say an RSI crossing a certain level and the MACD histogram crossing the zero line, for example. And that's what I have set up here. So here's the RSI cross and the MACD histogram crossing above zero. And often when someone reaches out to us and says, hey, I want to get a signal when both of these things are happening at the same time, but when I connect them to an AND node, I'm not getting any signals. Why is that? Well, when someone says at the same time, that sort of implies on the same bar, right? Because when you're looking at these historical bars, NinjaTrader is calculating everything on a bar by bar basis. So this bar right here, right now, I'm connected to just the crossover for the RSI. This bar knows that that crossover occurred. But the next bar has no idea that that crossover happened. This bar doesn't either, and none of these do, including this event where the histogram crosses above zero. This bar has no idea that just a few bars ago, less than, maybe 10 bars ago, this RSI cross event occurred. And so if you want to say, I want to know when they happened at almost the same time, and that's subjective, that's up to what you mean by almost, but if you say, you know what, I want to know when the histogram crosses within, say, 10 bars after an RSI cross, that is something we can work with. So let's talk about using the signal extender. Now, the signal extender is a really important concept for connecting signals. So let's go back to our RSI cross. Here's our RSI cross. Now let's connect it through the signal extender instead. Now you'll notice that it kept the original signal, but it extended that signal forward by 5 bars. In this case, let's change that to 10, and then we'll talk about what exactly is happening. So what this did was give all these bars knowledge of that event. It says, okay, this bar right here now knows that sometime in the last 10 bars, there was an RSI cross, because we told it, take this RSI signal and extend it forward by 10 bars, giving those next 10 bars access or knowledge of the event. Right? So that's very powerful, because now when we connect these to an AND node together with the histogram cross, so let's go ahead and get an AND node in here, and we will connect that, and we'll connect the histogram cross. Now what we've said is on every bar, check to see if there was a histogram cross within 10 bars of an RSI cross, because this bar now knows that both those events are true. This bar, the histogram has crossed, and sometime in the last 10 bars, the RSI crossed. I hope that makes sense, but the whole idea is that you're connecting two signals to each other so that they can both output a signal at the right time. Now, the way we've set this up here is we're basically making the MACD histogram cross the actual signal. So this crossover right here, this zero line crossover here, this is the actual signal rule, and the RSI is acting almost like a filter. It's just saying, hey, I'm allowing this signal to come through sometime in the next 10 bars if it so occurs. But the actual signal is coming from the MACD histogram cross. And you could always use a combination of signal extenders or whatever if you want to make it more flexible. But this should give you an idea of that concept of looking back in time and basically extending that signal forward so those future bars have access to that.